Now welcome to another edition of News from Naboo with Thor's Lighting Takes. And let's get right to the news.
Alright, it's actually kind of a slower news day, plus I don't want to talk about the Acolyte today.
I think some people will appreciate a break from Acolyte talk, yeah.
I've been trying to space them out a little bit because...
Yeah, it's been a lot of news about the Acolyte because it is like a month and a half away at this point, so no surprise.
Not only that, we've been talking a lot about the Rey movie that is coming up, the new Jedi Order movie, but I want to talk about another movie that's coming up that doesn't feel like it.
Another?
Yeah. So, we've been talking a lot about the Rey movie, but the Mandalorian and Grogu is the next movie on the docket.
Yeah, that's actually May of 2026.
Yeah.
Little over 2 years away.
Yep.
Which is still quite a ways, yet kind of close at the same time. It's in that like weird area where it feels far, but like not that far.
But the reason I wanted to talk about it is because it feels really wrong, in a way.
Wrong?
Yes. Thinking about it, it doesn't feel like a proper movie. It doesn't feel like the next thing I should be getting to see as Star Wars in the movie theater.
Because you experienced it on Disney Plus already?
Mostly.
Is that what you're kind of getting at? It
doesn't feel like a huge cinematic experience because of the fact that it started small screen.
Well, we don't know that we really have no idea what this movie will be at all. I mean, obviously, we know Mando and Grogu and probably some of the other characters from the show pop in. But we don't really know if this is going to be like, kind of like this epic adventure. That it's going to feel like a normal, well, kind of like a normal episode of The Mandalorian, but higher production value and maybe a little more explosions and a little more cool stuff than usual. Or if this is going to be something that doesn't really try to follow the show formula and it's kind of its own thing entirely that ties into maybe other stuff that we'll be seeing in the next Mandoverse movie.
But see, that's why everything is messed up. It's like Disney got the formula wrong. There are TV shows, and I can think of some, obviously, off the top of my head. There are TV shows that are made because of a great movie. I mean, it's happened a bunch of times that a movie is so great, people want it to continue. Here's a TV show. I mean, Disney used to do that all the time with their animated stuff.
Yeah. Well, you mean more like cartoons, right?
A lot of their animated stuff.
Like Lion King cartoon or Aladdin cartoon or whatever it might be.
The Little Mermaid had one.
Yeah.
A lot of theirs, even Rapunzel.
Okay.
They're Tangled, yeah.
Good job, Rapunzel.
I'm just saying,
you earned it.
They've done it a lot of times where here's a successful movie, let's bring it to the small screen because people will continue to want to watch it and know what's next. Sure. Even Marvel did that. Marvel started out, as we all know, as a movie franchise.
Has that been a good thing or a bad thing, though? I mean, do people find that frustrating? That it's like, so it's going to continue. I mean, there's the people who, of course, will watch anything and like just happy to, I'll consume all Marvel. But I think there's a lot of people who are like, well, I don't want to subscribe to Disney Plus just to watch the next chapter in the Marvel story.
I tell you, my dad was not happy when we went to see Doctor Strange and he hadn't seen WandaVision. He was like, wait, why is she a bad guy? They don't do a very super job of explaining how come all of a sudden Wanda's hell-bent on having kids.
Yeah. No, they don't really explain that at all in the movie itself, do they?
No, they're kind of, like, she's like, the horrible things I've done. Everyone, he's like, she saved the world, though. What's wrong? I don't get it. Because there's such a disconnect. Without having watched WandaVision, there's a little piece of the puzzle that isn't quite there.
I do think the experiment that is Disney Plus with trying to tie into the movies has kind of failed. I don't think enough people want to make the leap or make the jump or want to stay that connected that they're going to watch all the shows too. I mean, there are plenty of people who will, of course.
And it's fine to make Marvel stuff that isn't exactly like Moon Knight. Moon Knight stood firmly on Disney Plus on its own as a great series.
Well,
he hasn't shown up. I liked it quite a bit.
I didn't hate it. I don't know that it was like a great series, but it's fine. Yeah.
Oscar Isaac in it was actually fantastic.
Isaac was definitely a highlight. The many characters.
But his character hasn't jumped into the movie, so everyone's going, I don't understand Moon Knight.
Yeah, if you would suddenly have Moon Knight and you're supposed to know who he is in the movies.
Without them explaining the split personalities and...
It would be weird.
It'd be really weird.
We just had that with the Marvels, right? Everybody was like, who's this girl?
Yeah, Kamala seems to come out of nowhere. Monica...
Comes out of nowhere.
Pretty much, because she was, again, from WandaVision.
Yeah.
It's harder to remember her as just that little kid. They did, I think, an okay job explaining Monica, because she wasn't a huge role in a
WandaVision.
WandaVision. But Kamala Khan comes out of left field, and you're like, wait, what's up with
And she's such like a big personality in that movie that you wonder, like, who is she, and why is she like kind of
it's taking center stage? Yeah,
exactly.
So it's really weird. But now in Star Wars, they're going even more convoluted and going, okay,
Well, we don't know that yet, though. We don't really know what this
the
movie
whole
will be.
premise, though,
Yeah.
right now starts out as convoluted because Mandalorian and Grogu comes from a TV show. The mere fact that they're taking characters from the Disney Plus shows that were firmly established within Disney Plus and expecting that enough people know about them that they're going to take us to the box office and make a lot of money is rough.
I will say the difference here is that Grogu entered the stratosphere in popularity. He did.
He did.
There are people who have never watched a single episode of The Mandalorian and Grogu who, quote unquote, know who Grogu is.
Counterpoint, most of those people don't know his name is Grogu. A lot of them still refer to him as the child or Baby Yoda.
But does that matter? You know the little green guy. When he's going to be in that trailer or the commercials, you're going to know, oh, it's the little green guy.
But won't that set a precedent then that the movie has to have a certain rating, one should say?
What do you mean rating?
Think of
it's probably going to be PG-13.
Yeah, because you know how many kids fell in love with little Baby Yoda, little Grogu. He's so cute. But the Mandalorian does some violent things.
Yeah. He was more violent early on. Let's not forget the first episode where he cut a dude in half with a door. Since then, it's been...
Hey, in season 2, he strung up some dude on a lamppost.
Oh, yeah, he let the little critters eat him from town, yeah.
I'm just saying, he has done some hardcore things.
Certainly.
And there was the creepy Transformer from season 3.
Yeah?
He was kind of grotesque.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So they do some things that are, not for young. It's just weird that they're expecting to take a show that's from Disney Plus and hope to make a lot of money in the movie theaters. I think that's a hard sell. A little bit harder than saying the next big Star Wars movie is Rey.
Because everybody remembers Rey from this.
Right.
For better or worse.
Her whole story was told in the movie theater, and for better or for worse, people followed that story in the movie theater.
This movie also has another huge edge, though.
Okay.
First Star Wars movie in roughly 7 years.
And the desperation to see Star Wars in the theater is high.
Yeah, people will
I
just...
want to see Star Wars in the theater.
There are those people who did not like the sequels, who were like, not people who are online talking about them constantly. They went and saw them, they're like, kind of done with Star Wars right now. But that was 7 years ago, or will be 6.5 years ago at that point. And they're going to be like, you know what? This isn't the sequels. It's that little green kid and the silvery guy. I'm going to go watch this movie in the theater.
Well, and that's almost another issue is could this be part of why season 3 felt so weird? They had to get season 3 to the point where they separated Mando and Grogu to put them by themselves again so they can take off and do their own solo adventure movie.
Probably. I feel like, and we've discussed it before, season 3 is the result of so many different things that aren't story related. It's the result of bring Baby Yoda back because he sells a lot of merchandise.
Yes.
Rangers of the New Republic got scrapped. We need to throw some stuff in there from that show.
Yep, losing Gina Carano's character had to have an impact on this as well.
Yes. We want to set up a movie, so we need them to go off on their own. We've had this Mandalorian subplot going on within the show. We got to wrap that up before we send them off on their own. I feel like that show or season 3 just kind of suffered from so much that needs to happen.
Yes.
That it kind of lost the identity of what it had been in the first 2 seasons, especially the first season.
Well, that's another thing that worries me about saying that this is the next Star Wars movie, is there's a beginning, which was told in 3 seasons. This isn't the end of The Mandalorian either, because there's a season 4 that's already being written or done being written at this point.
Well, it's going to be its own... I think it's going to be its own thing that anybody can go and see and enjoy, which is a double-edged sword.
What kind of story is it going to tell?
Well, sure. It's a double-edged sword because there are a lot of people who have been watching The Mandalorian, and they're going to be like, well, this is just like a one-off adventure. I mean, that's
right,
cool.
It's inconsequential.
But it doesn't feel like it's connected to all that other stuff. And then if you do connect it too much, you'll have the people who are like, well, I don't get any of this. What's going on?
The only thing
I had to watch the show for 3 seasons.
possibly do is connect us to Thrawn because he just came back to the galaxy so they could reintroduce Thrawn, I guess, in the movies.
I think there's a really good chance Thrawn will be in this. Really good. Especially if he's meant to be the villain of the next movie.
Yeah, because Ahsoka season 2 shouldn't really be like the continuation of the Thrawn story because she has a story out where she is.
Yes. I'm curious what season 2 of Ahsoka will focus on.
Hopefully staying out there and not immediately like, look, guys, we came back to the regular universe. Forget all that Easter egg stuff.
Yeah, it'll feel really weird to split that because they'll have nothing to do with each other at that point. You've got whatever's going on with Balin and Shin and Mortis and Ahsoka and Sabine. And then you're back with the New Republic and Thrawn. It's like they don't... Yeah. Yes, one originated from the other.
Thrawn plus Night Sisters equals what's going on over there.
Yeah, but they don't... They're independent at that point. So it would be very strange to bounce back and forth between those two.
Right. I think Thrawn has to go forward on his own. I think he was supposed to go forward in more of the Rangers of the New Republic environment. He was,
yes.
Which we're not getting now. So in general, despite the fact that Grogu and Mandalorian is the next movie coming to the theaters for Star Wars... My brain cannot think of it that way. My brain says, no, it's the new Jedi Order movie, it's that. Because I'm so used to, anytime they bring Star Wars into the theater, we had Rogue One, solo story, it didn't come from a TV show.
Well, sure.
Picked up across a gap in the movies.
Yeah, plugged a hole, you could say, yeah.
The Han Solo movie, for better or worse, it just kind of filled some gap. It was, yes, he was an established character, but he's from the original trilogy, which you can almost assume everyone's at least heard of Han Solo at this point.
Pretty much, yeah.
And he's got a song, Han Solo.
Yeah, sure.
He does. So it just doesn't feel like something that's come from Disney Plus, that's already had 3 seasons of a show. It just doesn't feel like the next big Star Wars movie to me.
No, I agree. I don't know that I'm like super excited for it.
I'm not either. I'm more excited about where's this new Jedi Order. What is Mangold doing in the past? I want to know these things.
I don't know that I want to know those things.
I'd rather you just give me season 4 of The Mandalorian and keep telling the story on the small screen.
I think you just nailed it. I think I'd rather just have season 4 of The Mandalorian than a movie. And I'd like it to go kind of back to what it was in season 1, which is kind of what they set up, right? That it would just be Grogu and Mando doing missions for the New Republic this time. Which means you can then tie it into everything else you want to do with the Thrawn coming back and all of that sort of thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it's not... And when I say I'm not excited for it, like, it doesn't mean I don't want to see it. It doesn't mean it won't potentially be awesome. I won't like it. The closer it gets when we see things about it, I might change. But right now, I'm just like, yeah, I think I'd rather just take it as season 4.
Yeah, I agree. Give me season 4. I'm good with that.
Yeah. It's well suited for the small screen, and you're really curious what they do to put it on the big screen, to justify putting it on the big screen, right? Mm-hmm. Making it look grandiose. And
aren't they just going to shoot it all in the volume?
Don't tempt them.
Maybe.
Don't tempt them.
Oh.
All right. Well, I think that's going to be all we got for this time. I think we rambled enough on this one. But now it is your turn. Take to the comments below and tell us, are you excited for the Mando and Grogu movie? Would you rather have season 4 of The Mandalorian? Do you think it just doesn't feel like it deserves to be on the big screen, in a weird sort of way? Whatever the case may be, however you feel, leave those comments below. Let's talk some Star Wars. And until next time, thanks for watching.